their own behaviour, and we don't want to be paying lip service to justice. So if, for example, in a certain area there is a problem with knife crime, I know that many people feel victimised because they're searched and stop and search, and this is part of the justice system. We need to target people who are more likely to commit the offences. So it's a way of striving to fairness, and I think that a case of how we're going to achieve that.
Lots of points there, Nick, and pretty much every one of them, Kelechi's face, and particularly the last one. So let's deal with the judges. Nick was saying more diverse judges, and then the stop. I mean, I don't know what to deal with. Your face just painted the picture. Talk to me about judges. If we have more diverse judges, that's the way we solve the problem.
No, that's not the way we solve the problem at all. We're talking about systems, and people come into systems regardless of their race, colour, whatever. They're coming into the systems, and they have to uphold those systems, and rightly so. You can see in this very same situation, I can look the same way as someone and have very different views to that person. So having more diverse, as it were, judges might not change anything if those people are still going to uphold a white supremacist heteropatriarchal culture. If they also pathologise blackness, because that's what we're really saying if you're talking about, knife crime, the moment you allude to it. But if we look at what Glasgow did as it pertained to knife crime, they treated it as a public health issue as opposed to a criminal issue, and they were able to deal with it. So if you're saying that we can justify stop and search because black people are more likely, or black youth are more likely to be affected by knife crime, but we're not looking at all of the other reasons that this stop and search is actually in place in the first place, and the fact that excessive force is used on black youth, men and boys specifically, when they are stopped and searched, then what are we actually changing?
Again, so actually there's some points that Kelechi said that I agree with. Let's look at the reasons as to why certain people are more likely to be drawn into the system. This particular response has nothing to do with the root causes, and I think that we're not talking about things. So in the public discussion, we've had a lot of talk about male role models. Actually, if you look at black Caribbean households, 68% are lone parent households, compared to just 22% of white British households. Why don't we look at actually the environment in which young people are being grown up in?
I think it's really disrespectful to even try to allude to absent fathers in that situation, because that's also a myth that you're perpetuating.
No, I've given you a concrete statistic. That's a fact.
Can I just finish quickly and then we'll get Kelechi to respond?
Can I interject?
And similarly, the other point in this pre-sentencing is also religion. Well, what on earth? Why should a Muslim individual be treated differently from a Jew or a Christian? Most people would regard that as discrimination.
Kelechi, I want to get the others in, so can you briefly respond to that? I'd probably not, but can you try to briefly respond?
I can try, but it's illogical. So sometimes when you're trying to justify certain things, there are certain myths that we've perpetuated and propagated throughout. It's not a fact. We can pick statistics any way we want to pick them, but it's disingenuous and it's very irresponsible to sit here and ignore a whole system that pathologizes blackness, that criminalizes blackness as a reason to the absent father households that you're speaking about, and you're not actually contextualizing it.
So no one has any personal responsibility.
Everybody has a personal responsibility, but that's not what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about, internalized self-loathing.
Yeah, okay. Nick.
Absolute nonsense.
Okay, Nick.
Sorry, the blackness is not criminalized.